Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Tuesdays. Today we are looking at one of the cheapest pedals I have found on eBay, and that is a pedal from the brand KOKKO. Now I think that's how you pronounce it, it's KOKKO. If anyone from the brand can tell me that I'm wrong or right or whatever. So I picked this up, I think it was $26 Australian. Now what pedal is it? It is a compressor. Now this isn't their cheapest pedal. The cheapest pedal I think is $21, which is an overdrive pedal. Oh no, it's a booster pedal is the cheapest one, $21. But yeah, this is fairly cheap. Now this is based off the MXR dyna comp, but also has an attack control. And from what I've read from a few people on forums and stuff, this attack control is based on the attack on the Boss CS2, which is also a Dynacomp Ross compressor derivative. So I'm going to open it up and then we're going to go see what it can do, see if it kind of has a usable tone and how good it is for $26. So it comes in this cute little box. And then it is wrapped in plastic, much like the other pedal we had last time, which was the Mosky Drive. So you have this manual here, and unlike a lot of the pedals that come with one kind of piece of cardboard, this is a proper manual. But it's not super detailed for that, it's a manual for all their pedals. So if I just put it under here, you can see under this camera here, it has content and it has all the pedals they have currently in their lineup, which is overdrive, super drive, timer, which is delay, space, which is a reverb, SOS, which is a looper. There's the booster, chorus, compressor, distortion, phaser, vibe, and vibrato. So a lot of different pedals you can get, and they're all relatively well priced. So if I look here, now I've got this GoPro camera here. Basically says there for the compressor, let's go to that. Here we have sustain knob, which is the compression ratio, attack knob, the attack time, and level knob. Now from what I've read, I don't think the attack time is actually attack time. It's kind of how the release works on the pedal. Now we'll see it, maybe it is more of an attack time, but I'm thinking it is more like kind of adjusting the release, or when basically as the gain goes back up as the compressor comes off. I'm thinking, because that's how it works more in the Boss CS2. So let's pull it out of its plastic and we'll give it a go. So, you know, aluminium, this isn't plastic, this isn't, it feels a bit cheaper than say the Moore pedals, but it is still pretty good. Nice clicky on the switch, nice smooth knobs. I actually like these knobs, they kind of look kind of cool. Prefer them to the Mosky knobs we had before. And, you know, LED. Only takes an AC adapter. So I think the screws are underneath these rubber bits. But you shouldn't need to take it apart unless you really want to look at it. Now, that is a question I leave up to you guys. If on these cheap pedals you want me to open them up and have a look, I can. I buy these out of my own money, so you know, I don't have to give them back. They're not rentals or something, so I can kind of destroy them a bit by pulling them apart. Obviously, I'd like to be able to use them, but yeah. So that's it now. So let's plug it in and rock and roll. so we have now got it on the board, as you can see. So basically what I'm going to do is go through the controls and kind of show you. I've got my warmer Telecaster and we're going to that Stereotyne Stray Cat. So this is kind of my clean, unaffected signal. Pedal on, all on 12 o'clock. So as you can hear, it really smooths out the dynamics. I can play really softly and we still get plenty of volume. It's fairly even. And so that's the 12 o'clock, and it is quite squishy because it's based on a dyna comp, one of the very squishy, very compressed types of compressors. Then if I play a little bit of kind of funky rhythm, you can kind of hear it smooth out. So that's basically a 12 o'clock with everything, you know, set that way. I pulled the level back a little bit to kind of match it. So let's now go through all the controls. As I said earlier, you have got basically the Dynacomp controls plus an attack. So sustain is kind of, it says compression ratio, it's the amount of compression. Goes from just a little bit compressed to over the top super compressed. The attack, as I suspect, is more of a release knot, but we'll find out. And then of course, level is level. So let's go through all of them and kind of see the difference. Now, compression can be quite subtle. You can feel it more than you can hear it sometimes. Although a Dynacomp isn't what I'd call a subtle compressor, but you kind of have to listen carefully to kind of hear how the dynamics change. But let's go through that. Okay, so first I'm just going to go through the sustain control and then the attack control, and I'll try and change the level to kind of match it all. So this is the sustain. Mid-range, as you've heard it. We'll take it down a bit. So it's still adding a little bit of compression, but not a lot at all. So you can hear that coming in as I hit. Really coming in there. when I play softly, you can hear the compression. You can hear the noise floor come up a bit, which isn't noise generated from the pedal, it's just the noise from this guitar getting compressed and amplified. Compressed. This is probably only useful as an effect rather than to actually control the sound. Now we'll look at the attack control. I'm going to back it off to about here, just so you can still hear it, but it isn't way over the top. And we'll go through the different attack settings. So you can really hear with the attack all the way on the left, it's really clamping down on my signal and holding it. Holds it for a lot longer before it comes back up. So in here, it's not necessarily more less or more compressed, but the compression happens and then it comes back up really quick. I reckon with this setting, because it comes back so quick, you don't have that kind of choked sound, but you get this really nice blooming, this nice harmonic thing, which is great for arpeggiated. So let's just go back to that kind of riff. Heaps of sustain, heaps of bloomy kind of niceness. Now we're going to go, I guess, do some lead stuff. I'll back it down a little bit, and I'll bring the attack back. Just on the neck pickup. And it really kind of helps, you know, get leads to cut through. So if we just play without it. So in here, you don't get as much difference in volume. Overall, a lot better. Kind of get, you know, a more even kind of between strings. When I play the multiple strings at once, I don't get a huge spike. It's also really good for funk stuff, doing with a bit of compression, for doing a lot of choppy chord stuff. So I'm going to back it off and keep the attack up there. So we go. If you're using your fingers, you still get the volume and attack. So yeah, basically you can use compression for all this, and this compressor works really well. Like I said, it is quite aggressive like most dyna comps are, but to me that's a great tone, and it's $26. Like, that is very usable. You know, if you like compression or you want to use compression in your rig, it's very usable. Now so I'm going to just try a little different thing and run it into this Russian do machine I have here, to kind of, you know, get that more Gilmore-esque thing. Going to put the delay on and kind of smooth out the signal before it hits the fuzz, which is kind of a technique you can use it before drive. I might try it in the gain channel too. Not necessarily because you need compression, because distortion adds a lot of compression, but it actually changes how the gain reacts to the guitar because it's not dealing with as many transients. So let's start with it off and we'll just get a bit of a tone. And like I said, I'll try into the gain channel to achieve the same thing. You can hear that it kind of rounds it out. There's a bit more sustain, a bit more fluid. So we're going to try it, same thing with the gain channel. So as you can hear, same thing, rounds it out, more sustain, gets rid of some of the sharpness, more fluid. So yeah, compression can be used with distortion. So that is the KOKKO Compressor. Pretty much the cheapest dyna clone I have seen, and there's a lot of them. I mean, the Joyo is pretty cheap too. I think that's probably $28 or $29. But this thing's great. That attack knob is so useful because it can take you from super squishy to kind of like a squish and then a release, which gives you kind of this more aggressive kind of tone. Great for like funk and stuff. Reminds me of, you know, with a 1176, because the release times are so short on that, it gets really aggressive and punchy. But yeah, if you don't want it punchy, you can turn the attack down, and plenty of compression available. Now, it isn't subtle, it isn't the same as kind of a studio style compressor, which just tames your signal, adds a bit without affecting the tone. This really can mutilate your tone dynamics wise, but I mean, to great effect, if that's what you want. And with the sustain all the way down, it is kind of more subtle, and it still kind of does something. So I'd check it out if I were you. Like I said, it was, I think, $26. Just worth it. Just worth having a look at it. Especially if you're new to compression, just to find out if a compressor is something you want before spending the big bucks on something like a Wampler or a Keeley compressor or some of the more expensive ones. If you don't know if you need a compressor or if it fits in with your playing style, check something like this out. See how you go with it, and then if you really want to commit to a more expensive compressor, then you can. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.